Well, hey there, Lake viewers. It's Monday. And I am whispering right now because I want you to be able to hear all of the birds that are chirping right now. Spring is definitely springing. And I know this because the birds wake me up every morning before dawn with their beautiful chirping. But you know what? That doesn't matter because it's another week in God's creation. And I have brought you out to my favorite section of trail on camp. Now, I'm a big backpacker, hiker, and so I want to share this section of trail with you and tell you why it's so cool. And I hope you really enjoy it because I think a lot of you probably haven't ever been here. It's kind of off the main trails at camp. So here we go. So you can see I'm next to the creek, and this is the creek that goes past the prayer garden. You go over the bridge and you get to the prayer garden. And so the section of trail that we're on, you head east from the prayer garden. So for those of you who are directionally challenged, that means you take a right once you get to the prayer garden. And you get on this segment of trail that follows the creek. And so I'm kind of in the back corner right now, but you can see we've got the creek right here, and it keeps extending that way. But what's cool is it also kind of cuts off and goes this way. But let's go walk this section of trail here. So what I love about this section is that it's a classic southern Indiana ridgeline. All right, so you can see we've got really a pretty narrow ridge here. And so on one side, we've got kind of this valley where that segment of creek that kind of split off went. And then we just go over a couple of feet and we've got the main section of creek, kind of the river valley, heading down that way. And then we've got just this narrow section of trail that you get to walk on. And I love ridge lines. Like, they're just cool. It feels like God made a trail just for me. That's what I like to think about it. And this section is also cool because you can see there's so much moss on it. And the leaves are kind of covering up now. But when you come here in the summer, once those leaves kind of decompose or blow away, it's like a carpet up here. And it's so cool because, again, it feels like God made a carpet for me and said, here, sit down, enjoy a picnic lunch. This is for you. And so you can see that little ridge section that we walked and the river down there. And by river, I mean creek, unless it's been raining. And then the ridge line just keeps continuing. And so it's just beautiful up here. And it just, being outside like this just feels special. It just feels really cool. And so you can look down, and this is kind of Lakeview's version of the Grand Canyon. It's not as big, but we do pretty good with what we have. And you can look down and you can see where the creek goes. You can look back and you can see the segment of trail that you walked. And you've got just a little segment up there ahead. And so I love being outside, right? Like, I love being out in God's creation. And I know for a lot of people, not just me, one of the greatest things about being out in God's creation is that when we're in God's creation, it helps us connect to God better because we know that His creation reveals things about himself. And so when I look at this ridgeline and when I look at this creek, I'm seeing things that Jesus has made. And so I become a little bit closer to him because I get to see more about who he is through the things that he's made. And so that's so cool. And so another thing that I love to do when I'm out in God's creation is I love to sing because it's much more fun to sing when the only people who can hear you are birds, right? It kind of takes the pressure off. I have had deer look at me before, like, what are you doing? They'll stare at me through my windows in my house, like, what are you doing? But they're not too judgmental, so it's okay. But much like being in God's creation connects us to God because we can see who he is through what he's made, singing praise songs to God connects us to God because it reminds us of what he's done for us, what we have to be thankful for, and who we are in him. And so when you sing praises to God, in the words of Bonhoeffer, you're joining in the one song of heaven. That these are things that all of heaven knows to be true, and you're getting to jump in and sing that song. And so let's maybe do some singing this morning. Let's just kind of enjoy God's creation and enjoy some praises, singing praises to God. And so I think I saw a mandolin tree just over here. So I'm gonna go see if it has any ripe mandolins. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Look at this. This is a beauty. These come out in the spring on the mandolin trees, and this is gonna be just perfect for singing a song this morning. So wow, first ripe one that I've seen so far. So that's great. And later on in the summer, they actually fully ripen and become guitars. So super cool. Come now, fount of every blessing, to my heart to sing. Isn't that just awesome? Jesus has brought you this far. He's not going to stop now. Have a great week.